The first time you've ever talked to the client, again, review for notes on pets, hobbies, etc. to make the call feel warmer. I know in the file that I have at the agency that services my policies, it says Stephen has 3 dogs, a lot of chickens, 3 trailers. Hello, friends. Stephen Harrington, Dakota, the Diva of Insurance here with Agency Performance Partners. We're going to talk about how to take a service call and turn it from mediocre into memorable, or how to turn a complainer into your cheerleader. Hopefully you're having a lot of fun while listening to this. Maybe you're driving, flying, or going for a walk. You could be swimming or playing badminton. You could be barbecuing or doing your dishes. Whatever you're doing, I hope that you get something out of this. A while back, I had told a story about an experience I had. I called in to a service center, needed some help with some things. The person on the other end of the phone was very short, was not pleasant at all, was just kind of rude from the beginning, and that put me in a bad mood when I was perfectly happy to begin with. Call back, get somebody different. Total change of attitude. Person was helpful. They were nice. They wanted to solve my problems. Between you and me, I'm sure they didn't really they were like, oh, it's just another call today, right? But it was the attitude in which they handled my call that really made all the difference in the world. And because I had a great experience at the end, I told other people about it. Even though I was calling with a problem, person 1 put me in a bad mood. Person 2 made it all better and turned me into a cheerleader. I mean, that's kind of one way to look at it. Attitude is key. A couple of the challenges that we have with providing great service over the phone, I think it's 4 main things. Number 1, we're in a hurry. We're going from task to task. We feel that everyone's in a hurry. Number 2 is we think we know the answer to the question that hasn't even been asked yet. Think about that. Do we really know the answer if the question hasn't been fully asked yet, or are we just rushing to a conclusion? Number 3, we bring our own problems into the call. Honestly, I think that's the biggest one. Things affect us at work, home, the drive to work, coffee order's wrong, somebody cuts us off, kids are being ornery, etc. What do? We sometimes let those problems affect us, and we bring those problems to work with us. Or we start by being defensive instead of friendly. You get the nasty call from Nasty Nancy, who's like, oh, you people always mess my rates. You people. And so we're like, wow, hold up, Nancy. Listen here. When we could be like, oh, let me look into that for you. We get defensive sometimes because the client is being defensive. Whereas if we stop and we have a friendly tone, sometimes that'll help the situation. So let's get into 7 steps for a great service call, because that's what we're here for, right? Step 1, first call resolution. Pretty straightforward. Most calls can be handled the first time. A lot of times when we're faced with a difficult situation, our first reaction is to want to put the problem off until later when we have more time. Do we ever have more time later? Normally we don't. That time rarely comes. It's one thing after another, and we all have very productive days, right? At going from this task to that task to this one, accomplishing a whole lot of things. When do we ever have more time? A lot of times if the call's difficult, we want to put it off, right? We're like, we'll deal with that later. Yeah, I'll have a couple hours this afternoon. It's never going to happen, or it rarely happens. So if we talk through the situation with the customer, we get them the answers needed, or we get the problem solved, or take care of their needs while they're on the phone, guess what? You can't be interrupted by a phone call when you're already on the phone. Can't be interrupted if we're still on the phone. So whether it's quoting over the phone, processing a change over the phone, or getting the information needed, really try to make sure we're getting it done on the first call, first time talking with them. Another thing to think about is be a problem solver. So they call, they bought a new car, they're all excited, they just got that brand new Subaru Forester. I don't even know my cars anymore. Don't judge me. But I mean, we go through and we're like, hey, what about VIN number? And they're like, oh, I don't know. Normal instinct would be, call me back when you get the VIN. Instead, we could ask if there was paperwork from the dealership. Hey, you got any paperwork that might have that VIN number on it? Is the car in the driveway? Why don't you walk out with me on the phone and look at the VIN? It's normally in the driver's side windshield or in the driver door jamb. Give them some simple solutions to see if we can get this problem solved, situation taken care of while we're still on the phone. It also will ensure that if there's any additional questions or information needed, the client's still right there. So as we're putting in information into the system, sometimes with newer vehicles, the carriers don't have have a symbol for it yet, and they need purchase price or cost new. We don't always need that in all areas, but sometimes we do. Client's still there. We don't have to try to get a hold of them. Also, phone tag eliminates the back and forth if we get it solved the first time or answer all their questions the first time. That, in the long run, frees up a ton of time. So maybe you will have more time later. Number 2 is follow up and follow through. In the rare situation that you cannot solve the question or need of the insured during the first call, you can set a time to reconnect with them. Simple as it sounds. Set a time to reconnect with them. Say, hey, I'm going to call you back at 2 o'clock today. Does that work for you? Or what's a good time for me to reach you back? A lot of times end up with 10, 20, 30 calls in a day. Sometimes the client's only waiting for one call, and that's your call. And they're going to call over and over, asking if you have an answer yet. Or they're going to be sitting impatiently waiting. So when you call, they're extra antsy, like, oh, I've been waiting forever. And maybe they have. But if we set an expectation, whether it's, hey, I need to reach out to underwriting, I got to call claims, I got to talk to my boss, I got to talk to somebody else in the office, I need to get you an answer, set a time with them to call them back. And if you don't have the answer by that time, call them and let them know and set another time to call them back. Something to think about is if it's 1 o'clock and you know you're not going to have an answer until the next day, but you set an appointment at 3, pick up the phone at 1 o'clock and either reach out to them or leave them a message. Let them know what's going on. You don't need to wait till 3 o'clock to be like, hey, I know you've waited all day long, but I still don't have an answer for you. Let them know as soon as you know it's not going to happen in the time frame you promised. Follow up and follow through. Step number 3 is fix your face, which we talk about. I mean, I have a very expressive face, and that relays through my voice. As my facial expressions change and my attitude changes, so does the tone of my voice. I think a lot of us are that way. When you're getting ready to answer the phone, take a deep breath and put a smile on your face. The simple act of smiling through the phone can help put the client at ease and change their attitude as well. It's important to think about when dealing with a high-stress situation or an angry client. One thing that I had to do to learn how to do this was I had to stop and put a mirror right above my monitor. I mean, you can use your webcam, whatever you got, but really look at how your face is reacting as you're talking to a client. They can sense that through the phone. So if you have nasty Nancy or negative Nancy or whatever we call her at the beginning of the call today, at the beginning of our conversation today, if we have her calling in and we put a smile on her face, we're like, hey, how can I make this the greatest call of your day? Well, you people, blah, blah, blah. Oh, Nancy. Hey, good to hear from you, girl. Let's look into that and find out what's really going on, okay? And we turn it around and we're a little nice and we try to be understanding as possible. And we try to work through it with a smile on our face. Sometimes that'll help de-escalate the situation. Just like when a client buys a new house. Hey, that's really exciting. Put a smile on your face versus, do you think a client wants to be like, that's great, you bought a house. What year was it built? What's the square footage? What kind of flooring does it got? How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? How many stories? What type of roof? When was the plumbing updated? No, when you're excited about it with the client, it's like, hey, well, what year was it built? Or what's the address? I'm going to pull it up and take a look and see if I can see some photos of it too. I know you've been working on buying a house for a while, or that's really exciting you're buying a house. A happier attitude, you're building a much better relationship with the client. The client can also tell when you're stressed. Take a moment, take a breath, de-escalate yourself, put yourself back in a positive frame of mind, and then continue assisting the client. Not only will it help you, it helps the client. Step number 4 is slow down to speed up, and that one gets people all the time. Slow down to speed up. How does that make any sense? Well, because we're always rushing from task to task trying to keep up, but when we stop and take a moment to refocus, we can get more done in less time. When a client's calling, we should not be treating it as an interruption. Without clients, we don't have jobs. Something to really think about. Clients not an interruption, it's an opportunity to build a strong relationship and solve a problem they may not even be aware of. So if we take the time to work on building a relationship with the client, probing questions like, anybody else in the household? What kind of dogs you got? Sounds like you got an animal. How cute? What is it? Or, oh, I hear the kids are, how old are they? Ask probing questions. Take a couple of minutes to get to know what you're dealing with. The better you know you're insured, the better you're able to help them. By slowing down and taking a few extra moments to listen and talk with the client, it's going to also help put them at ease, build a great relationship, and in turn make future calls faster because the client trusts you. They're going to just want in and out or give you a quick update on something, and that's great. So a few extra minutes today can save hours of time over the life of the customer. Step number 5, focus on what you know. We've all been blindsided by the most random of questions. Take a moment before responding. Rephrase the question if it's unclear or ask the client for more information. If you truly don't know the answer to the question, that's okay, but don't make a big deal out of it and lose your confidence. There's nothing worse than you in a great attitude, you got your smile on your face, you're asking all the right questions, and the client's like, oh, and we decided to put in a trampoline with a pool next to it. And you're like, wah, wah. What? What happened? No. Take a moment, take a breath, and if you don't know what to do with the situation, just say, well, that's interesting. It's going to take me a moment to look into that. Do you mind if I put you on a brief hold of about 30 seconds to a minute while I get somebody else that can help us? Ask for assistance. What if it's a line of business you know nothing about? A lot of times we get a call and somebody's calling about Medicare or health insurance or life insurance, and we're not licensed for that. What do? We don't have to freak out and be like, I don't deal with that. I don't know nothing about that. That's just too scary for me. Find them someone that can help them. And in return, hopefully that person will send somebody for us to help when we know what we know. So we just need to take a moment, take a breath, get somebody that can help the insured. Maybe we don't know what to do, but we don't have to act a fool and get scared or let the client know that this is a huge deal. Hand-hewed log cabin and a protection class 10 is not going to be easy to place, and we might not know what to do with it. But if we ask around, we could probably find somebody that could help them, or we could give them some sound advice as to where to go. And hopefully in return, the person we refer business to refers back to us when they know it's something that we do well. Be an amazing agent. Wow the customer with your skills. Put them at ease by assuring them that you're on top of it. Then let them know that you're going to get the answer to them or get the answer for them, or at least stay along with them while they're getting the answer. And step number 6, recap. Confirm the question is being completed. When you recap the conversation with the insured, it shows that you were listening. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. We need to really listen to what it is the client needs and is asking for, not just what they're telling us they want, but what they really need and what they're asking for, and then respond. It helps avoid misunderstandings, and best calls are 2-way conversations. Let them talk, then respond. You can always follow up with a quick email or text if necessary, but we don't need to rewrite the entire conversation just to try to cover our asset. And I know that's something that we like to do. We're like, Larry, it was great talking to you today. We talked about, and you write like 17 paragraphs into an email to the client. Client's like, yeah, we talked about that. Thanks. The client reads it and deletes it, or peruses it and ditches it. They're not going to go through the whole email. Now, if you just need to say, hey, Larry, just wanted to remind you to please send me a copy of the registration and your daughter's new driver's license. Perfect. Exactly what it's intended for. But we don't need to have a step-by-step conversation emailed to the insured every time. We can document our file, but we don't need to recap in writing with the insured, as long as we're confirming over the phone what their request was and that we are completing their request. Step number 7 is document. If you do not document the interaction with your client and the management system, the interaction may as well have never happened. Not only does the log note help in the event of a loss, it can also prove valuable when servicing an account. Whenever you look at your system, look for notes, tags, flags, whatever we want to call them, little pop-up reminders. We can look for hobbies, pets' names, kids, certain things that have happened in the past over and over. Maybe they've had multiple claims, so we have to put a tag in their file so that we know that they're claims prone or that they've canceled multiple times for non-payment. Also take a moment to review the last few log lines in the file. Look to see if the client's had any recent life changes. Maybe somebody got a license. Maybe they're going through a divorce. The last couple log lines can tell us a lot about the client or anything that's recently happened. Maybe they bought a vehicle or sold a home. All these can lead to a great conversation. Talk to the insured about what's in the file. Hey, I see that you recently sold a car. Congratulations. It doesn't look like you had a replacement. Are you looking for something anytime soon? Be proactive about it. People insure the things they care about. If we really think about that, people insure the things they care about, whether it's jewelry, a car, home. Buy insurance just because insurance insurance is fun to buy. They buy it to protect something they care about. Talk to them about it. Ask them questions like, what color is that car? Oh, I see you have a classic. Tell me more about it. What made you fall in love with that 68 Shelby? Or whatever it could be. The first time you've ever talked to the client, again, review for notes on pets, hobbies, etc. to make the call feel warmer. I know in the file that I have at the agency that services my policies, it says Stephen has 3 dogs, a lot of chickens, 3 trailers. I mean, I love me a good RV. I can't go wrong. So I have 2 fifth wheels and a travel trailer. Hopefully by the time this comes out, I'll only have 1 fifth wheel and 1 travel trailer because we need to downsize just a touch. But every time I call in, somebody asks me either about my dogs or where I've recently gone camping. And it makes me feel like they care. Accurately documenting all communications with the client will also ensure that anybody can help the client if the need arises. I know that in my previous occupation managing an agency, whenever we had a claim that we had to deal with, we had to go through the file and look to see what kind of notes there was. Did we have a conversation about coverage? Did we have a conversation about limits? Did we have a conversation about adding a vehicle, deleting a vehicle, etc.? If there's nothing in the system, we don't truly know what happened. So make sure that you take the time to document all interactions with the client in the management system. In conclusion, you should, are you ready for this? Answer every call as if it's the first call of the day. Treat every customer the way that you would like to be treated. Remember that with no customers, we would have no job. Smile through the phone. De-escalate the situation by remaining calm. Summarize and document all interactions with the client. Show pride in your work. Remain confident and take a moment to shine every time. If you become overwhelmed or have difficult situations happen, get up and take a quick break before getting on to the next call. I know some of you are going to be like, ooh, it's an all-day break because my job is stressful. That is not what this is about. This is about an extremely overwhelming situation, maybe a large claim or drama's happening at an insurance house and they try to drag you into it. Take a breath, take a quick break, have a Zen moment. It could even be at your desk for 30 seconds. Close your eyes, do some deep breathing, drink your tea, pet your cat or dog if they're there, whatever that may be. Recenter yourself and repeat. Answer the call as if it's the first call of the day. Treat every customer the way you want to be treated. Smile through the phone and stay calm. Summarize and document. If you need any more information on providing amazing customer service to your clients or any more training, we do have a new course that launched here recently. Wow Customer Service. Happy to talk to you more about that, or you can find out more information on our website. We look forward to talking to you again soon.